More than I need, what you want, girl, it's yours. Give me your feelings, I just can't ignore. 'Cause all I want is you, baby. Give me your time, all your love, I've been patient.
What's going on, everybody? It's your girl, Brandy.
And it's your boy, Russell the Fourth.
And we are back for another episode of the What They Never Told Us podcast.
Yes, we are. Back in the building.
We got a few housekeeping announcements here before we get started and jump into today's episode because, unfortunately, Russell has had a death in his family, and we will not be going live on Wednesday because he has to travel to Virginia. So there will not be a live for this week's episode. We are still in the works for planning next week's episode as it falls on the 4th of July, and Russell's birthday is actually on that next Wednesday. So keep your eyes and ears tuned out for something on our social media. We'll post on both Facebook and Instagram what our plans are for the following week, so the week of July 4th.
Absolutely. Man, we usually take our business at the end. I don't know how to jump in after that.
You said you wanted me to tell him about my dream that I had last night. Did you want me to tell him about the dream, or did you just want to talk about the feeling from the dream?
No, this is what I want to talk about. I want to know if there's any men that have this experience like me where maybe it's not a gender thing.
I don't think it's a gender thing at all.
I think this part is gender specific. I think women wake up from the dream, and even though they've already established that it wasn't real, because the emotions are real, there's still some behavior that follows that.
I feel like you've done that before too. Like your heart's still racing. You're like, oh, I just need to calm down. It's the same thing.
That's never happened to me in my life.
That's not true.
I've never had a dream and woke up and referenced you like, baby, my dream.
Not reference me, but you definitely had a dream that freaked you out, and then you're like, still worked up. I think it's the same thing.
No. Like, I mean, you had a dream that we got in an argument and you wake up with an attitude.
Oh, that's never happened to me.
Huh?
That's never happened to me.
No, not that specific scenario, but you have woke up from a dream and act like last night. Tell them what you dreamt about last night. Because you woke up acting mad guilty.
I wasn't acting guilty.
Acting mad like you got caught.
First of all, I was not acting guilty. So I had a dream that I was like creeping, right? But I didn't like mess with anybody, but I was in somebody's car and I was like, oh, I don't want this to appear to be something else. And he comes in and he tries to kiss me. And then like we get out the car and somebody sees us and is like making a face and blah, blah, blah. And then I go back to the house, right? And I feel like I'm hiding something from you. And I'm like wrestling with this idea of.
Oh, you didn't tell me?
No. Not at the point in my dream. Like, do I tell you? Do I not tell you?
Oh, you was creeping.
I should not have been in the car in the first place. Like, it was definitely in the dream. It was with the intent of like, okay, something might jump off. Like, I felt that in the dream. So then I wake up.
So you was in the car like, you were feeling things in the car that you shouldn't have been feeling.
For sure.
You was creeping.
But nothing happened.
But you were still creeping. And that's a conversation right there. We're going to have an episode about cheating. But that's cheating. So, a lot of people regulate the cheating to the physical, but it always starts with just talking.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so when I wake up from the dream, you're not in the bed, right? So I wake up and just, I don't know, it's like a comfort thing when I look over or I stick my foot out a little bit and you're there. So I'm like still like heart beating, waking up, and I kind of look over and stick my foot out and you're not in the bed. So there was a moment of panic, like, oh shoot.
now look here.
Was I talking in my sleep? Because I do that. So like that's
so let
the
me
thing.
Let me take over the story from here because this is my experience, right? So I couldn't go to sleep last night. I started writing a song and got stuck, and it just bothered me. I couldn't shake it, so I'm in my head like, okay, where do I go? Anyways, so I get out of bed because I want to turn up my headphones and I want to disturb Brandy. So I'm chilling in the living room. I hear the door open. I hear him coming up the hallway. She come in the room. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. are you sure?
Well, you never like you're just outside the bed.
I said, I'm fine. You said, are you sure there's nothing wrong? But no, like I can tell the like, is everything okay versus like, did I do something wrong? That's what it felt like. And so then you said, I had a dream. So I'm like, what happened? So then you tell me. So this how I know you still feeling guilty, because usually you just give me details. You was like, I was in the car with somebody. She said, I had a dream. First of all, you said, I had a dream I was creeping. I said, what? I had a dream I was creeping. I said, well, and I said, hold on, wait, what? So then when I wanted details, then you did this. You said, well, not creeping, but I was just in the car with somebody I shouldn't have been in. Now I'm like, hold on, wait. You not telling me who you was in the car with. I said, you ain't telling me. You was like, no.
No, you said who, and I said it's not important.
Oh, that's so you still hiding stuff out your dream, which lets you know you feeling guilty.
No, it's weird. Like if it was Trey Songz in the dream or something, I'd have been like, oh, it was Trey Songz.
That's somebody we know.
But it's somebody we know, so that's why I was like, I'm not gonna say nothing, because then I didn't want you to be
sitting
like,
here dreaming about the brother.
He dreaming about him. You think he cute, which I don't.
You got bad taste even in your dreams. Why weren't you in there with Trey Songz?
Like I can control who I'm in the car with. If I could, I would have chose Justin Timberlake if I could have. But
your old suppressed desires.
I didn't. Not even. And that's part of the reason why I didn't want to say nothing. So I'm like, ew. But anyway, wow. So
mad guilty.
Actually, truth moment. So the reason why I was like asking you, are you okay and are you sure, is the same reason why I've been asking you that for like over the last day, because you just feel off. Like, I don't know what it is. I was trying not to read too much into it, but then when I woke up and you weren't in the bed, it was more of a concern for like, all right, just go ahead and tell me whatever it is that's happening, because at this point, I'm about to start making up stories on my own. So that's what more of me asking you, like, are you sure? It wasn't because of the dream. It was because I'm like, okay, now you not in the bed. So like, what's going on? Because you never get out the bed. You will sit and toss and turn and play your little videos and cackle to yourself while I'm trying to sleep, and then be like, hey, babe, did you know? Hey, no, I didn't know anything. I'm asleep.
I'm writing a song. I need to pace. I need to play my music loud. I need to say the words out loud. And ain't nothing like you waking up in the middle of the night, me talking to myself on the edge of the bed. That just won't work. This would have been weird.
So yeah, that is why I was like, okay, are you sure you're all right? Like, is everything okay? You sure you're feeling all right? Because it just you've been feeling distant the last couple of days.
I mean, I've been trying to write this song, and I would say this: I have been feeling the effects of the house we're in right now. When we have all the kids here, I feel like I have nowhere to be. I feel trapped. Mm-hmm. So in those moments where I'm doing something where I need to be by myself, when I need a space to kind of just mumble or do this without, or the kids coming to me punching or something, I feel the effects of that. But legitimately, nothing's wrong. Like, I'm okay. I'm very much so in my head because, creatively I'm working on some stuff, but there's nothing wrong. I'm good. I promise.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I'll just let it go to you just not gonna tell me, but so now
so
now regardless what the reason is, like
you don't believe me?
I've already drawn the conclusion. The conclusion has been drawn. Like,
what's the conclusion?
It's just that it's something you don't want to tell me.
What I just told you don't believe?
I mean, it suffices, but I mean, you know how like when you already land on something, so it's like, oh, okay.
This is that space where like, you ever been like just maybe feeling a little more stoic and your partner's like, what's wrong? You like, nothing's wrong. They're like, what's wrong? And then they keep asking you what's wrong so much that eventually you like, now something is wrong because now you got attitude because it's like, yo, nothing's wrong with me. Like, this is that space. I'm like, I'm literally telling you what's going on. Anyways, you just not going to tell me? Huh?
I mean, I just feel like
said it. Like,
if there was something like the explanation that you just gave, perfect. But the 15 times that I've asked you, what's wrong? Are you okay? That would have been, but now I'm like, all right.
But see, I'm just trying, when you said you feel like I've been, what'd you say? What was the word you said? I've been
it's just distant
in my head. Now I can put some language to that. But when you say words like wrong, what's the matter? Are you okay? Nothing's wrong. I'm okay. Nothing's the matter. So I'm just addressing the thing.
But you don't like probe as to why somebody would be asking you that question?
No, I feel like if you had concerns, you would speak them. You're the most blunt person I know in life.
Speaking of concern, nigga, what's wrong with you?
What am I doing? I'm just being a little more quiet than usual. It ain't like I got an attitude.
I mean, like, for instance, like when we go to bed at night, right?
Uh-huh.
It's a very, not routine, but it's kind of routine. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to pray. Come here, kiss. I'm going to turn around. You're going to couple me. You're going to spoon me. You know, all the things are going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So last night, like, our indication of it's time to pray is like, all right, good night, babe. Like, we be on our phones or whatever, but when one person has had their fill, somebody says good night, and then you know that's the cue to put down your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. You had put down your phone. You said good night. I prayed. You was like, and got right back on your phone. So I'm like,
I was stuck on this. I was stuck on this line.
why you throwing the routine off? Like,
I was very focused.
we done did these things. Now it's time for you to come spoon me. What you doing?
I wasn't tired. I wasn't about to go to bed.
What you say good night for?
You said I'm tired. I'm about to pray.
No.
You prayed.
No, that's not what happened. Sorry. Anyways,
who-
they don't care about this.
Who initiated prayer?
You said good night. I said okay. I'm
Who
pray.
initiated prayer?
Huh? I started praying because you said good night. You kissed me, and I said okay. I'm gonna pray.
Oh, I thought
and
I-
as soon as I prayed, you pick up your phone.
I thought I
was
kissed
like,
you after.
No, it was before.
Just reading in this stuff. We done got all this. They're like, okay, what's this podcast about?
But no, I think it's good because I think we have to have those check-in moments, right? We have to be able to ask each other the difficult, the poignant questions in the middle of our relationship. We had an episode similar to the one that we are going to have today last season. I think we called it 21 questions or something like that, where we just asked each other questions from the deck of cards, which was called the couples edition. Shout out to them and go check that out. If you don't have those cards, or if you did not see that episode, go back and watch it. But you had the idea again to this time make up our own questions.
Yeah, at this point, y'all, we grasping the straws. When it's time to do the episode, we're like, so what we about to talk about?
I don't feel like that at all.
That's a lie.
It's not with this because we did this before and it was a really good episode as far as feedback. Like, people were like, yo, I like when y'all did that. Can y'all do it again? We mixed in some of the nasty questions, so I'm sure that's what the people really liked. The choked or spanked was one of our most viral clips.
I'm realizing,
and it was from that episode.
I'm realizing that people are just nasty.
Of course.
So a large portion of our sexual content, we talk about how to engage in it responsibly under the sanctity of marriage with the approval and stamp
They
of
don't
God
wanna
and the
hear
Holy
that.
Spirit. They be like, okay, cool. So what she like, what you like, what you do?
So which one?
You bought
never
a
told me
toy,
an
what y'all
answer.
did? Oh, y'all got a swing? Like, y'all just nasty.
Choked or spanked.
Like, anyways, bro, choked or spanked. We don't want to hear all that, bro. That's how they be. That's what I'm realizing. People just nasty.
That's okay. We nasty too, so we feed into that just enough to be the risque.
Y'all not gonna exploit our
We're-
sexuality for
we've
y'all.
been categorized in the risque Christian group.
Y'all ain't gonna exploit our nastiness. Someone
No.
just the other day was just like, y'all gonna win.
Yesterday,
I want my sex episode.
yes, literally walked up to the window and was like, "I want my sex episode." Like, so that's the next
stop
episode,
playing
right?
with me. It's like, why you waiting on that? Just
They like it
nasty.
when we talk about sex. I only have, I think, one question related to sex.
I
in
have
my question.
nothing pertaining to that.
What? How do you not ask a sex question?
I'm not nasty like y'all, I guess.
Whatever.
I'm holy.
Okay, so
No, I'm
ask your
joking.
first question then. Go ahead.
Well, hold on. Before
What
we
you
do,
got?
I want to talk about my vest. We ate at Cracker Barrel today, and
So we're going to speed right past that, but you just going to call attention to it.
we ate
huh?
at Cracker Barrel today, and it was a lot of like countryness, and it just felt appropriate to throw on the fisherman's vest. There's always like a tinge of racism that you feel at Cracker Barrel. The people are nice. People that work there are always nice, but it just, I think it feels like because you stepping back in time, it just feels like
They have to be. They want a tip.
it's true. What about the people who aren't your surfer?
I put on my Doughboy shirt just for a specific reason, since we're talking about attire, because I really felt like you should have nutted up on that dude who blew that straw paper at me.
I was getting to that. So, like I said, everything at Cracker Barrel just kind of has a tinge of like racism. In the day, all the black people left. All the black people who were there eating, they left before we got there. They was on their way out while we were on the way in. You know, black people, you want to see another friendly face in the building.
Yeah,
like
at least one.
when you're the only black people, you like, oh, let's keep our head on a swivel.
Oh, you gotta
watch
crack-
my six, because we don't know what's going to go down. You feel me?
You go to Cracker Barrel though. It's slim chances you might not find one.
Right? And everybody there got their, veteran hat and, make America great again trucker. Like, so we sit there eating, everything's smooth, everything's cool. A large family comes in. Maybe 25?
No, it was not that many people. It was probably like 15 people.
15 people deep, okay? We're eating. All of a sudden, I see a flying object come across the restaurant. Flies behind Brandy.
It hit my arm.
Hit her arm. Now, you know how black would be. Hit my arm. It's still tingling. It was the wrapper of a straw. Okay. Immediately, I'm like, yo, what was that? Because I didn't see what it was. I was just like, what the heck was that? So I look up, and there's a friendly person of European descent, of the Caucasian persuasion.
It's called Candace.
Called Candace. And he said, that was me. I am so sorry. I was like, oh man. He said, and the sad thing I was trying to hit my niece here, and I don't know how it got all the way over there. All nice. I'm like, oh man, you got terrible aim, blah, 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 blah. I'm smiling it off. Clearly he's apologetic. They're 15 deep. I said, you know what? This seems like all good. He's apologized. My wife's honor defended. I look over at her. Her exact quote was,
I don't remember what I said.
oh, I tell you what it said. You being a little bit too nice for me. That hit me.
I had that Shannon Sharp gift was playing in my head where he was like, you over there playing too nice with Jethro, and he done hit me with this paper.
He done hit me. now, at the time, I didn't know what it was. I just saw something over there. So what was it? I'm thinking like, dang, maybe through a fork or a knife or something. What was it? It was the paper from a straw.
It don't matter what it was. It hit me.
It was an accident. He apologized. What more do you want from this scenario? You just want me to be a little bit more rude?
I'm just saying, Doughboy wasn't gonna stand for that. You see what they did, Doughboy.
You thought you married Doughboy?
When they did what they did to Ricky,
look at my vest.
He grabbed the whole team.
Hey, look at my vest.
Hey,
you ain't married Doughboy.
Hey.
You ain't married Doughboy.
You could have at least said a cuss word.
What for what? It was children there. It was children. Like, what?
Stand up, push a chair back or something.
You weren't hurt at all.
No, man, I don't like it.
This is, now, fellas.
You got to defend my honor.
Your honor wasn't even in jeopardy.
It was. He hit me.
Here's the thing, fellas. Don't let your girl get you beat up. Like, don't let it happen.
You was here?
No, there was no danger. You were in no danger. I was in no danger. We had a friendly exchange. All was well. But if I stand up and say, hey, yo, watch what the fuck you doing, now I might be. I don't know it. It's 15 people. Out of the 15, 10 of them are grown men. Like, what are we doing?
They was not no. You would be exaggerating the story so tough.
It's 15 human beings. Is that an exaggeration? That's what you said.
It was 15 of them, but you could at least roll your eye. You ain't have to play nice with them in the sandbox.
In the sandbox?
You got bad aim. Yeah, you do got bad aim. That hit my wife, and I didn't appreciate that. Could you please apologize?
You know what your problem is? Nope, I ain't gonna do it. Nope.
I don't have a
That's
problem.
in the question.
I don't have a problem.
You do have a problem. You have a problem. You are offended.
I don't have a problem.
You have a problem.
He hit me.
You're looking for aggression and
He hit me.
He hit you is like misleading.
He hit me.
You're looking for aggression in places where it's unnecessary. And here's what you need to ask yourself. Why do you need that?
Why do I need what?
Why do you need that response?
I need to feel safe with you.
Why do you feel unsafe from what happened today?
If somebody violates me,
what
I need you to be able to be like, hey, yo.
What happened today that made you question your safety?
He hit me.
No one hit you. Stop saying a man hit you. It did not happen. Like, stop it.
Ask your question. I done said what I had to say.
This is ridiculous. Fellas, look.
It was a failure on your part to protect my
I'm going to tell
safety.
you now. Look, if this is, you're in jeopardy, then I'm sorry, sis. You in trouble. That's a deep one. No, you started off.
No, this was your, ask the question.
How much residue of your past marriage affects your current one?
Well, because I have to still deal with the residue, I would say like 60%, but I don't think that it's residue from
What was the percentage?
60.
60.
Yeah,
Sheesh.
but let me finish. I don't think it's residue in the fact that like there's hurt or there's some type of issue that arose there that has now creeped its way into this relationship, but the fact that there are unresolved, I don't know, issues with my ex that creep into the way that we interact, the way that we parent, the way that you try to co-parent with him.
So
I feel like that's
let me shape the question.
shape the question.
Him aside, like,
Yes.
of course we got to deal with him. Like, nothing
Resident.
of him
You
actual
ain't-
person. I just mean like effects of the relationship, areas where you were hurt, maybe muscle reflexes that you had to use in one point in your life. How much do they still apply?
I mean, I think 0 is unrealistic, but I think it's very low. I would say 10%.
10%.
Yeah.
What's the 10?
Yeah.
What was that?
I mean, I said 10% because I really like saying 0 is unrealistic. Like everybody has a residue. Everybody has
Yeah.
things that they have to deal with. But I can't really pinpoint. I think it's there's some trust stuff that could obviously be brought up. Like, I am definitely a trust but verify type of person. And I can't say that last relationship is one that created that issue. I think that's been something throughout my whole life where I just have trouble trusting people. And even though you tell me something, like, I'm going to do my due diligence, especially if there's a wind of like, I'm not sure about that.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely amplified in my last marriage because there were trust issues there. So now I think that more often than not, I will err on the side of find out and then ask
Okay.
to make sure that you are telling the truth.
Okay. There was I can't remember what episode it was, but there was this one. This clip still bothers me to this day because I still don't understand it. We're gonna need to revisit that maybe for a whole episode. But it was something about, you know what? I am gonna say that. That's for another episode because I'm not even sure if it 100% relates to this specific question. So I'm gonna say that for another one. It's good. That's the thing about
Okay.
having an ongoing show. You gotta keep some stuff in the bag.
Okay, so now it's your turn to answer the question.
30%.
30? That's a lot.
It's a realistic one.
What's your residue?
I think I'm always gonna have to deal with intimacy and rejection issues. I think that's something that's just my thorn.
What are you doing to work on that?
Just not letting it bother me. And speaking up, I'm being more verbal about it. You know what I mean? Like, in times past, conversations around affection or, stuff like that wouldn't even be a thing. But it's always going to be a thing. You know what I mean? Like, especially it's heightened with the fact that you're not a touchy person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So because we're naturally different in that way, it's always going to be something that, I have to constantly be communicative about when I'm in lack.
Mm-hmm.
Also about like not, and let me say this. This is why that clip jumped off like it did, because people whose love language is touch, a lot of times people just think that they just want to be touched. That's just like 50%. The other 50% is they want the other person to want to touch them. Like when it's a chore, bro, I don't want that. Like when it's like, oh, dang, here, boy. Or dang, girl, here, take your hug, go on somewhere. Dang, I just hugged you 5 minutes ago. Well, I don't want that. You know what I mean? You want the person to want to. And the truth of the matter is that sometimes when that's, whatever your love language is, when the other person speaks a different language, because you're different in the area, it can seem like they just don't want to, or they don't love you.
It can seem like that.
It can seem like
Yes.
that, right? Like because you don't want to touch me, it's hard for me to understand why. Because I love you, it's like, I always want to touch you. Why would you not want to touch? I always want to be touchy. If for someone who's not touchy, you just don't understand it.
So I have like a bit of an issue with how we express those things, like those thoughts that you have, right? Number one, saying because you're just not a touchy person. And two, when you say like when the other person just doesn't want to touch you. I mean, I agree that there are probably some scenarios where physical touch is just so low on someone's priority list that they just don't want, like they don't even think about it. They don't acknowledge it. But I think someone not wanting to touch you is a different, it's communicating something different than it's just not important. It's not as important in my list of needs. So me, I want to touch you. Like, it's not that I don't want to touch you. I desire to touch you. And when I do, I come in for it and do it. I just don't desire it as much as you do.
So here's what I need you to help walk me through.
Absolutely.
Now I'm going to put your feet to the fire a little bit.
Come on.
But you're a big girl. You can take this. The scenario that is now went viral. Let's shed some more light. Okay.
Yes.
I come in from work.
Yes.
You're cleaning the kitchen, sweeping.
Whatever.
Mm-hmm. I come in for a hug. I haven't seen you for a full part of the day. Mm-hmm. You're obviously put off by it. So the reaction is like, I don't like to be interrupted
every time
when
you
I'm
come home from.
I'm talking about a specific time
Okay.
that this happened.
Okay.
Not every time.
Okay.
Clearly. Not most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
This specific time.
Okay.
You go, I don't like to be interrupted when I'm doing something.
Mm-hmm.
To me, coming in for a hug is a small intrusion to a chore, to a task. And what it communicates to someone like me, now, I know this isn't how you feel,
Mm-hmm.
but this is just what it feels like.
Yes, absolutely.
This is more important to me.
Mm-hmm.
You finishing sweeping is more important than loving me.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is my love language. Me hugging you, seeing you is communicating. I loved you. I missed you. Hi. I'm establishing connection.
Mm-hmm.
When you put that below the priority list of a household task,
Mm-hmm.
walk me through because to me it just feels like I don't want to touch you. Or maybe I do, but this is more important right now. And for someone whose love language is touch, it's like, what do I do with that? I'm going to leave you alone because I don't want no hug that is a chore. Because if it's like, keep that. I'm going to go sit on the couch. I mean, it ain't going to ruin the night. We'll get past this, but that's a deposit. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Walk me through that.
So I'm not going to speak for anyone
You're
else.
speaking for the task people
but
of life.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
I'm speaking for the touchy people.
No, I'm not.
Love language.
I'm speaking for myself.
Okay.
No. I'm speaking for myself.
Okay.
One of the things, okay, so me naturally, I don't really like to clean up. Like, I'm not one of those people that's like OCD and everything has to be clean and everything has to have its place. Like, nah, I can deal with a little mess. When I clean and I'm like intent on cleaning is, and you can attest to this, is usually when I'm dealing with something. It's how I process. When I have had a rough day at work, when there's a lot on my mind, if I'm frustrated, I clean. Like sometimes just clean ridiculous things that don't need to be cleaned. I'll wipe out my whole cabinet just to rearrange it because I just need that activity to help me process what's going on. So in the moments where I'm at home, and this is what you talk about the majority of the time, right? Where I'm at home, I'm cleaning up, I'm doing the dishes, I'm getting ready for dinner, I'm working still, and you come home and we hug, we kiss, how was your day? It's fine. But in those moments where I'm cleaning to decompress, it does, like if I'm already carrying a very heavy load for that day, I'm already frustrated, and now I'm cleaning to get all those feelings out, and you come home and it's like, okay, stop what you're doing. I'm here, hug me, kiss me, love me. It feels like another thing, right? Where I'm trying to, like I need this moment to just, it's an interruption. It has nothing to do with you as a person and what you need. it is just all in the way that I'm working through my emotions. And I think for me, where touch is important to me, but it's not like, it's like maybe third or fourth on the list of the 5 things. When I am in the throes of trying to bring myself down, it feels like an invasion into my personal space. This is just me. And I know that I have to understand that it's something that you need, but in the moment I also have needs, and I also have things that I'm working through and that I need to just get out. And when those two things conflict with each other, like, we have something that we just need to talk about. I don't think that it has to be a big issue of rejection. And that's why I said in the clip, like, I just need you to tell me, hey, yo, in this moment, I know you're busy or whatever, but I just need this. You don't have to ask for a hug every time, but in those moments where you feel like I might be a little standoffish, just break me out of that and tell me, this is the time where, look, I just need a little bit of acknowledgement. I need a hug. I need you to sit down with me, because if not, I'm just stuck in what I feel. And when I'm trying to process what I feel, like, I would give you the same respect if you were going through something and you tried to, I wouldn't be like, oh, let's go on a date. And you're like, man, I'm frustrated. I don't want to go on a date.
So that's the thing. It's the, let me say, this is the first I've heard about you processing something you're going through. I think we've had this conversation first a couple times. I don't think I've heard that you cleaning in those moments is you trying to process something.
Yes, you have. You've even made a joke about it, about, man, I look around, she cleaning the countertop. Like, that's how I know something wrong with her.
No, I know that you do this sometime. This specific time, I didn't know that that's what was happening, is what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. You said some key things there. And this is not to dismiss what you're saying, because I hear that. I can receive that. And I think in relationships in general, people need to understand that it's never going to be just about you and what you need.
Absolutely. And
just because your needs are different doesn't mean that one is more important than the other. So I think that gets lost. So it's like, well, no, I'm tired of begging. I'm tired of da. It's not about what you need. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I do want you to see the full picture in this, though. When at any point your needs or my needs start getting framed in the just something else I have to do, that's a hard pill to swallow. This is the residue from my past marriage. Mm-hmm. Like, when loving me is a chore, I don't want it. So yeah, you're cleaning. I don't know what happened that day, but if you going through so much that a hug from when I ain't seen you in 8 hours is a chore, a greeting, like, hi, I haven't seen you, hey babe. Like, if that's a chore, that's a hard pill to swallow. So I'm not negating that. I understand that that's how you feel and what you feel is real, but there might be some more work we got to do around the area so that your coping or what you're doing to cope is so stringent that there's no room around there for me. That might be, you know what I'm saying? Like, I go to the studio to decompress, but I hope you know, like, if there was something you needed from me, that session can cancel off rip. If you were like, I know you have a studio session tonight, I feel like we haven't connected, and I really need to spend time with you.
But do you see how that is a communication of a need?
I'm not negating the communication, nor am I saying I shouldn't have to communicate. I am adding the piece of, though, the communication waters down the effects. It does. Like, doesn't it feel better, like, for you to come home and the dishes are just done versus if you call me and say, babe, can you please do dishes before I get home? Like, one has to feel better than the other, because it's like, man, I ain't have to say anything. He just took the initiative and did something, and it made me feel more, seen, or like I felt, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it's just that, like, I'm not, a hug is a hug, and I'll take what I can get. But I am saying that at some point with the learning each other and getting under the same mind, there has to be a point where, like, okay, I don't need the driver instructor to keep telling me to put on my turn signal before I turn left. Now I know how to drive. Now I know. We've only been married a year, so for the most part, we're still learning how to navigate each other's needs and stuff like that. But at some point, I'm going to just need to start planning dates. If you got to keep saying stuff to me, then it's like it takes away from the effect of the quality time that you need from me. You know what I mean?
Yes, I think this is in life in general and everything that we do. It's very easy to highlight those moments where you don't get everything that you need. In my mind, being a process person, I can be task oriented to a place where it becomes detrimental. And when it becomes detrimental and somebody, you, the kids, whoever, have to keep asking for things that they need, that you guys need. And I'm so focused on, okay, but my list of things right now need to take priority. That becomes an issue. But I do feel there's some point where if 90% of the time you don't have to say nothing and you're getting what you need, that 10% of the time can't be the majority of what we focus on. So for me, like in this particular area, I do feel like I hope you see the effort in me coming to you more to give physical affection and then being more receptive when you come.
Absolutely.
When you come in for physical affection. But I also need for you as my husband to understand that there are going to be some times where I just don't feel very touchy-feely. And I would expect that you respect that. Now, I'm not saying as far as a hug, but if there's other things that like I'm going through and you're pulling on me and I'm like, hey, look, I'm dealing with something right now. Like, I feel like I should be able to have the space to do that too.
You always will. Most of the time, I'm not going to say nothing. I'm just going to have an attitude.
Well, I don't even want you to have an attitude if it's like something that I'm
just
processing.
All I'm trying to process, all I'm trying to say is that 9 times out of 10, you're going to have as much space as you create. Because I'm not forcing myself into no space that I'm not wanted in. That's a dramatic way of putting this. Yes. But it's just my thought process, not pertaining to this relationship, but in life. I'm not pushing myself into no rooms that don't nobody want me in.
Okay.
That's just me, good or bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, some things you got to fight for. And like, I deserve to be here. But I'm not wired like that. I go to the places where they love me. Hey, y'all love me here? Hey, yo. I'll stay right here. That's just me. That's my thought process, and that's how I move in life. And it kind of trickles into this as well. You know what I mean? I do want to say, especially for the people who have come, because that post is at like 1 million views, insane amount of likes. So there's a large portion of our audience who has come from that clip because they're dealing with this right now. I want to say in all of this, that scenario that we're talking about was within the first 5 or 6 months of our marriage. Within the 5-6 months after that, this is something that we have worked through without effort. Like, I can't remember last time where I came home and I wasn't greeted with a hug or a kiss or something. You know what I mean? Like, this is something that we navigate. And I also think for the most part, like, when she needs space, I'm not pushing that. You know what I mean? We have to respect each other's differences. And I think we're smoking that. So we don't do a whole lot of going back and forth on the comments because a whole lot of people's like, see, this is why their marriage is going to fail and yada, yada. Like, we open up our lives in these scenarios to create the conversation that needs to be had. But this right here, we smoking this. Like, the love languages thing right now, we're doing a B+ job.
A D+?
B+. Oh. B as in bee, honeybee. So, yeah, that was my question. Great one, too, because it created some great conversation.
I came in very easy on the first one. Rate the current status of our relationship on a scale of 1 to 10.
B+.
No, that's not the scale of 1 to 10.
What would a B be?
Following directions.
What would a B be? 9.
A 9.
Rate an area of our relationship or just
the current status, like where we are today. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 is like it's the pits, and I want out of this thing.
Sex 10.
No. Overall,
8. Can you sit back and let me do my thing? You asked your question. Let me do my answer. Okay, sex is 10. Communication 8.
Oh my goodness. Those are the only 2 elements.
Sharing a living space 6. Now we're doing good. I'd say a smooth. I'd say a strong 8.7. It's only because there's so much room for us to go.
So you are not a math genius because that did not average out to 8.7. Those
Well, you didn't even hear the other factors. I didn't have time to go through all the factors and all the different areas of rating.
Okay. Why do you rate it an 8.7?
Just think about it. This is out. There's some areas that are perfect. There's no room for me to want any more. Like I don't desire any more from our marital bed. I'm completely satisfied there. Our communication, I think for as different as we are, communication style wise, I think the fact that I haven't found a conversation that we haven't been able to have. Unless it's something you hiding, like that dream you had, and you didn't want to tell me who you was in the car
I think
with.
it's on my list too.
Oh, here we go. No, I think it's in general how different we are. The fact that we're able to come together in all of our differences and still work together. I think it shows to a huge effort that we put into it. So, yeah,
I'll take that.
Yeah, in any area or any numbers that are 9, 10, or just because I know there's greater ahead. That's it. Yep.
Okay, I said 7.
Wow, you Simon Cowell. Yeah, I'm Randy. Hey, that was good, dog. Yes, Simon.
I knew that was going to be a shocker to you, but kind of some of the same reasons why I said 7. I mean, as you said, 8.7 is we have so much room to go. We've only been married a year and a couple months.
This is supposed to be the good area. We are 7 in the first year. We're gonna be a 6 and 10.
No, what?
Yeah,
no,
10 years.
We don't go down. We go up.
I know that's best case scenario.
We're not the average couple. We go up. But no, nobody is perfect. I don't even want our marriage to ever be a 10.
Like a C.
Oh my gosh.
Can
you let me answer?
I'm sorry. You're right. You could go. Do you think?
I don't ever want to be a 10 because I think if you say your marriage is a 10 in every area, then there's something that hasn't been uncovered or that you're just covering up. Like it's realistic to think that in this thing called marriage, that your situation would be perfection, no issues, no nothing. Then y'all not talking about something. Yeah. I said a 7 because I really believe that in every area, like we're striving to be that 10. But I think that the fact that we can point out our flaws and actively engage and work on them is one of the parts that I love the most. So an 8 to a 9 on our best days, but I think we ride right at a 7. I think that's a good place to be in our marriage. Now there are areas that, like, I agree, are a 10. Like I think we have fun together. That's a 10. Our ability to enjoy each other, 10.
And still got a 7.
6, 10.
3 areas of 10.
But vulnerability, I think we're like a 4.
What?
I do. I think there are just so many areas that we have not gone.
All right. It's your assessment.
It's my assessment.
You're right. Dang.
I want to get in there. I want there to be nothing hidden between us or withheld. And I think there are still some things.
Well, just say it. Whatever you're hiding, just tell me.
Nothing.
You got to be.
It don't come from me. I'm the most open one in the relationship. I'm going to say that.
You better laugh. I'm
laughing at your response. I do believe that I'm the most open one in the relationship.
I don't believe that.
What?
Baby. What?
What? Please explain. Expound. Tell me what area of my life you need more access to.
When you're going through things, I am not a part of that.
I think you know when I'm going through things. Some things I just have to process on my own.
Not because you tell me. That's what I'm talking about. Not because you share with me or confide in me. Because I just know the signs. But when you're going through things, you are in your head working through it. You don't come to me and say, hey, this is what I'm going through.
And you're not.
Huh?
No,
I'm not. What?
Shocked.
Give me something.
Shocked and appalled.
Give me something.
Shocked and appalled. You are just so open that when you're going through something, you come up to me and be like, "Hey, babe, I'm going through this. Let me talk to you about it."
First of all, I don't go through a lot. Like, let's be clear. I don't have a lot of stuff going on, and for the most part, like, I process stuff differently. I think you're naturally wired with your gifting, with your skill set of looking at things, dotting I's, crossing T's. It's what makes you climb the corporate ladder, which is what's going to make you run Fortune 500 companies. It's because you go into a room and you see everything that's wrong with the room. Mm-hmm. I'm not wired that way. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not wired that way. You are, though. It's a gift and a curse. And because you're wired that way, you're going to see things and notice things that are going to have a taxing effect on you before I do. Mm-hmm. I can walk into a room and be totally fine in the room. I say, oh, that's crazy. All right, y'all, what we watching? Like, I just move on. You're not like that. Not good or bad. It just is what it is.
Absolutely. But that doesn't mean I'm going through something.
It means that you're going to have more on your mind than me, and more things are going to affect you than me.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That don't mean I'm going through something.
I'm not saying you're going through anything. I am saying that when you are, I don't know about it because you don't tell me.
Okay.
Do you? Do you?
I think that you think that I'm going through more stuff than I actually am.
No, I'm talking about the things that at one point have come out, but that's after like.
Yeah, I definitely.
I'll see you going through things for a while before it comes out.
So I am definitely the type that has to process, right? I am not. My first, like, there's some people whose first instinct is like, I need to get advice on this. I feel this and I need to talk to somebody about it. I need to get it out and I need to hear another perspective. That's not me. I like to run through my thoughts to make sure, number one, like that I'm having sane thoughts, because I don't know about anybody else, but my mind be running rampant. And I know that some stuff that crossed my mind is just like, okay, that's not realistic. And I'm a problem solver, right? So I'm not going to anybody else to help me solve my problems unless I'm like running into a roadblock. So when there are things that I feel are just like, if it's woman stuff, like my hormones are just off, right? And I'm just not feeling nobody right now. Like I will pull back from people so that I'm not lashing out and verbally assaulting people when I really don't mean that. That doesn't mean necessarily that I'm going through things. That's just like my way of protecting those around me. But when there is something that is legitimately bothering me, I do go inward before I come outward.
And when you go outward, I am not the first person you go to.
That's not the truth. That is not the truth. I promise you it's not the truth. It might feel like that, but it's not the truth.
Okay. I feel like you would go to your first label for me.
That's not the truth.
It's what I feel.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now, I know feelings can't be real, but
I'm sorry. You can ask her. I'm sorry you feel that way.
Like, there are things that have been bothering you, and we'll talk about you say, well, I spoke with Chantel about it, and then I'll be like,
you are talking about pre-marriage stuff?
Post.
Lies.
We're going to talk about this off camera. We're going to talk about this off camera, but
go ahead. What's your question?
Body changes, okay to do or not without communication?
Body changes like what? Like cosmetic surgery?
Yeah, say you wanted to
lipo, a BBL, mommy makeover.
Yeah, move some meat.
Move some meat?
Yeah, move some meat from the tummy to the tummy to the bum.
Well, you got to take care of me.
Or if I wanted to get,
I have to have that conversation.
Well, even if you had a conversation, what if it was like, I like your body, like don't do that. It's still like, well, I want to do it. It's my body.
Oh, geez, I feel like this is like, especially when it's directed towards a woman. We're getting into some very shaky ground.
It's not gender specific. I want to get, I wanted to go to like where they be going to get they new teeth.
You want some veneers?
Where they go? They go to the Dominican.
Dr. Smile. Oh.
Dr. Smile. Where they go? I want to go to a Hispanic gentleman and get some pearlies. You was like, but
it's your body. You have the ability to do whatever you want with it. This is how I feel in general. Like if it came down to me, like there's this one part of my butt that I feel like if they just put a little in there, my butt would be absolutely perfect. But because I
who, you?
Yes, because I sit down a lot, I got what they call secretary spread. And it's like this flat part of my butt because it's like literally the inflection point at which I sit. So my booty flat right there. I just want to plump it up just a little bit and my butt would be perfect. You said I don't need it. But if I truly like was really unhappy with that, and it was affecting my self-esteem, whether you said it or not, I would probably do it. And I believe that you should do the same.
I disagree.
Shocker.
I disagree. I think when same scenario versus if I was really wanting to go do that and you tell me, babe, I really don't find that attractive. I'm not gonna do it because I might like it, but you gotta look at me for the rest of your life, and my self-esteem is a inward thing that I need to work on, not a physical thing I need to work on.
Yeah, but I think you also need to be happy with your outward appearance.
I think things that we find wrong with ourselves a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times have to do with internal things that we need to work on versus outward things.
Yeah.
Like my teeth aren't bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I think about it long enough, it was an area of sensitivity. You know, my teeth used to be real crazy back in the day. I had to get braces. So I know there's an area of particular insecurity there because of, I remember being teased about my teeth back in the day before braces. So even after the braces come off, there's still something in my mind that desires this like perfect smile. That's an inward thing. Truth is, if I never got that done, no one's gonna say to me like, "Oh man, bro, you see Russell's teeth?" Like, it's not a thing that is part of my life. But I gotta be honest about where that might have come from. You know what I mean? And if it affects how you see me, you can't be with no other man. You can't look at nobody else smile and get joy. So if I'm the only store you can shop at, then I'm gonna make sure what you want on the shelf is on the shelf. You know what I mean?
I mean, I do see that, and I think like something dramatic, like you want to get cheek implants or something like that. Like it's a little different. Like your teeth, whether they look the way they look now or whether they look like little chiclets, it is not going to change the way that I feel about you. I love you. Like, and your teeth are not going to change that.
Yeah, of course they're not going to change that.
It's not my preference, but if it makes you feel better about yourself, I'm not against that at all.
I think people oversimplify it a little bit. Like, you like what you like, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's a part of you, yes, I'll always love you, I don't care. Okay. But you do. If I gain 500 pounds, yes, you'll still love me, but you don't want me to be that way.
Yeah, but that's not teeth. I'm thinking of cosmetic things.
But what if it goes bad? What
you
if
gotta get dentures?
No, what if I go to a cheap doctor or something and he put big buck donkey from Shrek
you
teeth
just
in
gonna
there?
have to hear my "I told you so"s all for the
But
rest
you
of your
also
life.
got to look at that.
Yeah, but I mean, I think in general we can put a lot of if it go wrong, if you die, if all these things happen.
Yeah.
But I think in general, if there is something like for you, you be like, man, I hate fake nails. I absolutely if you said, babe, I hate when women wear acrylic nails. I would not stop getting acrylic nails because you hate that. And I think it's the same thing. Like, just because I don't like the way veneers look on some people, you might get them and they look amazing. It's just a personal preference for me. But I would never tell you that you couldn't get them because I don't like the way that people. I think you don't need them. That's why I said don't get them.
I don't think you should forbade anybody to do anything in a marriage. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that I think there should be some consideration. I don't think it should be if I want to do it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, no,
I encourage you to do the same.
I think you should ask your person.
I think it should be conversation. And not just conversation, but consideration. You wanting to do something with your body, okay, cool. But there should be some consideration.
Yes, I mean, especially when it comes to major surgery. Like, you're looking at, like, if you wanted to have, I don't know, what's another procedure you could have? Gastric bypass or something. Like, you're going to be down. That changes the way that we eat around here. Like, those are things that we have to have a conversation about. If I decide to have a mommy makeover, I'm not going to be able to do the 100 million things that I do around the house for a considerable amount of time, which means that you have to step up. But if I just get a little injection or you just get a couple little caps on your teeth, I just feel like we have a conversation about it, especially because those things cost money. And can we invest the money in these things? But if we got it to spend and it make you feel better about yourself, have at it. That's the way I feel.
All right, your question.
If our relationship didn't work out, do you think you would remarry?
Yeah. I established I'm not made for the streets.
This is very true.
Yeah. And I believe in the institution of marriage. I do.
I don't think I would be in a hurry to remarry, but I wouldn't cancel out the idea. So for us, especially if death is not the reason why I'm looking for somebody, if something failed with us, and this would be now 2 failed marriages. Going into number 3, I think I would be a little bit more hesitant, because I feel like as far as dealing with trauma and the fallout from divorce and being intentional about the way that we dated, intentional about being married, the conversations that we have. If this thing don't work out, I don't know no other way to do it. Like I really wouldn't have no ideas of like, okay, I need to do this better.
I feel like I'd be getting stronger after divorce. I don't know. This version of me is this version of me is better. So who knows what I might be on the other side of this one? This one gonna hurt. Who knows what I'll be
at
after
the
that?
exact opposite. I'm like, if number 3, I mean, it's really got to be. I probably would marry for money.
Russell 3.0 gonna be different.
Yeah, I probably would just marry for money. I'm going for somebody rich at this point. I've tried it for love. It didn't work out. Like, now I just need a benefit.
That one definitely gonna end. And he gonna make you sign a prenup first.
Now I just need a benefit. I just need to reap the benefits of marriage. Like, I want to inherit all the stuff. Go find me an old man.
Yeah, I would. I would get married to you.
What?
But we don't have to worry about that. I don't like that question. Are there non-negotiables in marriage?
Non-negotiables? Yes, absolutely. You mean like, are there things that you just won't compromise on?
Yes.
Once you're already married?
We're already married.
I don't think you can bring in non-negotiables once you're married if you did not discuss them previously. I don't think you can introduce a new vibe.
But just say, for the sake of it, something came up that didn't come up before, and they didn't have the mindset to talk about it beforehand. And people change. Like, I don't know, say a married couple is like in their 11th year of marriage, and on his 11th year, for whatever reason, he's got a thing for, I don't know, plushies. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, he wants to get tied up, and she's like, I am not doing that. I don't know. Like, just anything.
I guess my mind went somewhere totally different.
Of course, it's like
non-negotiable.
Of course, like under no point, because we're parents, we're not gonna allow our children to be harmed. There's a safety concern, like state safety for the people involved in the household cannot be compromised. Those are like the non-negotiables, right? But there's other stuff, you know what I mean? Like, maybe at one point in your life there was something that you were okay with, and this new version of you was like, I'm not gonna tolerate that no more. This is non-negotiable. You can't go to the strip club no more. Non-negotiable.
There have to be boundaries in the relationship, in any relationship, whether you're married, dating, whatever. You have to have boundaries in your relationship, and you have to have things that you just not going to bend on, right? I think everything has to involve a conversation. And if I said something, if you told me something you wanted to do and it made me feel disrespected, it made me feel degraded, it made me feel less than, it made me feel unsafe, and I'm communicating that to you, like, I will not do these things because of this reason. If that becomes a non-negotiable, if that's what we're using, yes, absolutely, it's okay to have those things in a relationship. We've talked end on end about things we would and would not do in the bedroom. I'm gonna try anything once, throw it at me. Let's see if it sticks. Let's see if I like it. I mean, I said pretty much. I said pretty much. I mean, you're not spitting in my mouth and stuff like that. Like, but that makes me feel disrespected.
For some people, that's ground level. They like, I'm with it.
Have at it. Have fun. Y'all gonna catch syphilis. But for me, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It makes me feel away, right? It makes me feel disrespected. So that's why I would not do it. And if I tell you that, to me, as my partner, you have to respect that. Even if it's one of your deepest, darkest desires. If it makes me feel less than a woman or disrespected or unsafe, you got to respect that. I don't know what you do to curb the craving, but you got to fix it. That's something that you have to deal with. But as far as just changing the script, and let's say we always decided we wanted kids, and then now we get in a relationship and we're married and we done lived this life and traveled, and you're like, nah, you know what? I don't want to bring kids into this. And now you try to make that not a non-negotiable. Like, no, I'm sticking hard on this. I don't want to have kids. I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, especially when you came into the marriage with a certain idea.
Yeah.
Now, would the factors change, right? Say you were always cool with your significant other having a friend of the opposite gender, female friend, male friend. Then maybe there was something that happened with inappropriate messages, or maybe not with that specific friend, or maybe there's some infidelity in the past. And after that, now it's like, well, now this is not negotiable. Like, this has changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you have to discover the feeling behind that. So if there's something that's making you change, something that was already cool in your relationship, you can't just expect for somebody just to go along with that just because you said, no, now I'm not comfortable with it.
Man, if you violated, I feel like you gotta switch up.
I feel like you have to be able to understand the person's why behind that. And if the why is because you violated my trust, then you gotta respect that.
Yeah.
But if the why is
I just don't like it no more.
Trisha's boyfriend cheated on her, and now I don't think you should have lady friends. If you ain't done nothing to not deserve that, that trust, then no, you can't do that. So I think there should always be a reason behind the reason why you have a non-negotiable. You have to communicate that. And if it creeps on some of those things that we discussed, then I think as a partner, if it's a reason behind it, as a partner, you have to respect that.
Are friends of the opposite gender more difficult when a person is beautiful?
Is this another question?
We're just talking at this point, yeah.
Say it again.
Like if you were, say for a reason, you were just cool with me having friends of opposite gender, it's never been an issue. And then I was like, oh yeah, man, this girl, man, we play pool, her and the fellas, blah, blah, blah. Say she comes around and she's like beautiful, like Beyonce or I don't know, whoever. Just would it be a problem then?
For me personally, I don't think another person's looks make me feel insecure or inferior, because you can look as pretty as you want to, but be rotten to the core. So that's, to me, if she pretty and she hang around you, that's not an immediate reason for me to start feeling insecure about you being friends with somebody. But if they have like the same the things that you really desire and they're beautiful, yeah, it could be a reason to just be like, nah. But for me, just because she cute don't mean nothing to me. Nah, I'm good with that. But you don't really need to be friends with anybody of the opposite sex anyway. So
sounds good.
What do you? You always introduce these questions with like this air of if you don't want like my answer, then don't ask me the question.
I just said it sounded good. What was the problem?
You look dead into that camera like.
We're doing the show. We got to talk to the people.
If there was one thing that we do or have done during Mr. Nasty time that you had to choose for us to never do again, what would it be?
You don't got to choke me ever again.
You could just go the rest of your life like, yeah, I know I'm good without that.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I mean,
okay.
Everything else seems like it has to stay.
I was going for more something that you enjoyed, but
why would I take away something I would enjoy?
It's the question. You have to pick.
The stuff I'm gonna take away is the stuff.
No, you have to pick one of the things that we do or have done that you enjoy. I'm sorry, I didn't put that in there, but now you have to go the rest of your life without it. Which thing are you taking off the list?
That we enjoy.
Yeah.
That new toy we bought. It can go.
Well, you enjoyed that?
Yeah, sure.
No, see, you're lying.
Why are you making me pick with the stuff I like?
It's a sacrifice question.
The swing.
Really?
Yeah. You think I would give away like a staple position?
I don't know.
To go up on a harness that we can only utilize when all the kids, like, we can't even do that all the time.
But it's so fun when we do.
Well, we need more of a sample size. We did the one time, it was new. Let's see how we feel the second time. Your hip was hurting afterwards. We might be too old for that.
I got on the horse right after.
I'm just saying what I'm saying.
That's a bad idea.
I'm just saying what I'm saying. Your hip was hurting afterwards. Made a lot of noise. We got to stop from foreplay to get up in the stirrups and all that. Stirrups ain't the right word.
Yeah.
But
I
you know,
understand.
it's just it's very fun. But if I had to choose, like, what am I take away? Doggy style? What? No.
Oh, that's actually what I would take away.
Wait, you
I
hold
feel
on. Wait,
like-
there's two. Are you talking about
I
the
feel like
lay
we-
down on your stomach? Or you
we-
talking about like the
Well, that's lay down on your stomach. It's not doggy style. We went up doggy style 2.0. So doggy style basic, I would throw it away.
we don't really do that much.
Yeah. So
Wait, does
I
that
would throw it
include the
away.
one
I
where you
like
kind
it,
of?
but I would just throw it away.
Does that include the kind of like?
No, that's 2.0.
Oh, okay. Well, then I agree. Keep the swing. I'm with
No.
you. I thought you just when I think about that, I just think about everything from behind.
Oh yeah, no, everything from behind is not.
Okay, about to say because you tripping. Yeah. Throw it away. Like, so like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, no, that would have been my answer. I just feel like it doesn't really add anything. It's amazing, but it don't add nothing when we've
Yeah.
elevated.
It's like we might as well
It's
go
like-
straight to the mountaintop.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
skip the in between. There's some people who can't live without it, but
I'm with you.
I ain't one. You have to relive one of our most intense arguments or disagreements.
Nah, mine's better.
Which one would you choose, and would you do anything differently?
I have to relive.
One of our most intense arguments or disagreements. Which one would it be, and would you do anything differently?
We don't have a large sample size of like intense arguments.
Okay, well, that's why I said disagreements. I put that in there too, like something where we just weren't seeing eye to eye.
Biggest argument. I keep going back to the one during marriage counseling. We came back to the house.
Mm-hmm.
There was that one and the most recent one, but that was stupid. I feel like I just wouldn't have had that argument. I just wouldn't have brought it back up.
So this was the tattoo.
Yeah, I just wouldn't have brought it back up. It was so inconsequential. I just would let it go. I think if I could go back, I wouldn't change anything with the marriage counseling one because I feel like even in the frustration of it, there were valuable things I learned, and I wouldn't even have a mind to go back and change anything had it not been for those experiences. So, like, I wouldn't change it. I let it be what it was going to be. Clearly, I mean, we're here, we survived it. But you have to kind of fail in certain areas to learn the lesson. And I think for sure we got a crash course on communication early in our marriage, before our marriage, honestly. I'm somewhere we was like, are we ready for this? Maybe we need to pump our brakes, but it was very invaluable experience.
It made us have the tough questions that I think when you're getting married, and you're in your engagement period, that you just ride on this high of, oh my God, I can't wait to marry this person. I'm so in love. And I think that argument made us have a reality check to be like, okay, are we ready?
Absolutely.
Can we handle these tough things? Because we hadn't really had moments in our relationship where we had to tackle tough issues. So that was good. I was gonna say the last one too, the tattoo issue. I just wouldn't let it get that big. Like there's some stuff that happens on the podcast that just needs to stay on the podcast.
You know what though?
What?
I would have still had that argument.
Well, because you just want to have the makeup sex.
You telling me you gonna skip that session? You gonna let that one slide by?
I'm sure it would have happened in another scenario, but I
that was, Veronica was talking to us about the 4 different types of sex.
She
That was a
was.
core type of sex we had never had before.
It's very true.
It opened the
very
doors for a whole new way of connectivity.
I agree, but I still would not have had that argument
It was a small one,
for
but
a
a
big
real
reward.
big reward. You feel me?
Okay, go ahead. Ask your last question.
Man,
but
you know what though? I had 2 more questions, so I should have let you do that.
it's okay. Go ahead and ask the one you want to ask.
Nah, but wait, this one's really good.
We'll choose because we're already over now.
I'm gonna do both because you did 2 back to back. Where do our expectations in relationships come from, and how do you know when they're reasonable or unreasonable?
Where do they come from? I don't know where
Yeah.
my expectations from our
The
relationship.
things that you just expect in a man. In Cracker Barrel, you get hit by a straw wrapper, you expect some level of aggression. Where do those things come from? And how do you know when they're
Try and
reasonable?
take a playful situation and make it all deep and crazy.
And how do you know when they're unreasonable?
they're not unreasonable until you express them to your partner and they're like, I can't do that. That's how you know it's unreasonable. I mean, it's real. I don't, in my head, there's some things are not unreasonable until I voice them to you and you're like, okay, I'm not doing that.
What if you just have an unreasonable partner who doesn't want to meet your expectations? He don't want to change.
It's unreasonable to them. See, that's something that's very like subjective. But I think our expectations come from a myriad of places. They come from the relationships that we've seen. They come from some of those things that we are missing in our lives and we want. Like I wanted to feel safe with you. I wanted to feel protected by you. So an expectation is that you're going to do those things. And that's because I haven't felt that ever in a relationship. So I think that they come from a lot of places. They come from TV and the internet and seeing other people's relationships. And, you know, they just come from living life. But I don't think that they're deemed unreasonable until somebody's not willing to do it or meet the expectation.
I think I agree with what you're saying. I think a part of what makes them unreasonable is kind of the origin too. I think they're kind of tied. Like when expectations are birthed from trauma, oftentimes they can birth unrealistic expectations. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Not all the time. Sometimes it creates a expectation that's like, no, this is an area that I've been hurt in. Yeah. And I can't let that happen again. So I need to know that you can hold me down here. Like I don't want to be cheated on again. I don't think that's unreasonable to say. But for instance, with what we were talking about earlier, right? Like I've been hurt in the area of intimacy, and I don't mean sexuality. I mean connecting with my partner. Love languages. That's the area I was hurt in. It created an expectation early on that I can't be in a relationship where people are not meeting my needs. Right? Now that's not what's the word? That's not a bad expectation. It gets unreasonable when there's no room for you to not have your need, because it's impossible to think that every time you want to be touched, you're going to be able to be touched. Yeah. It's unrealistic because it's birthed out of pain. I'm hypersensitive now. The wound is still raw. So, you know what I mean? That's when it starts teetering unreasonable because no, like, yo, fam, I'm trying to do my homework. Like, I can't play with you right now. Like, I just, like let me work. Or, hey, yo, like, I'm trying to, like, when it's birthed out of pain, sometimes it can create an unrealistic expectation. Yeah.
I think just to highlight, knowing that your expectations are shaped from all these different places is why it's so important to make sure that you're as healed as you can possibly be before you go into a relationship, that you've dealt with your hurts, you've dealt with your trauma, or at least you're addressing them, right? Because when they are birthed out of trauma, out of hurt, out of disappointments, to you, it seems completely realistic and it seems completely doable, but to somebody else, you're asking them to stretch beyond a place where they can never meet you. And I think that's where you see people who have such high expectations that they just remain alone because nobody will ever meet them because they're so rigid, because what they need is based off of a deficit that they've had. But when you can find your wholeness in something outside of another person, you come into it expecting less. So when you were like, what do you need from me in this relationship? I'm like, don't lie to me. Don't put your hands on me. My expectations, basic level, are very low because the things that I need to feel, I already feel through God in myself. Yeah. I don't need you to replace anything that I'm missing in my life. Your presence really adds to my life. It doesn't supplement things that I'm missing. So my expectations of you are based on just how I believe that we can carry on a great relationship. And I'm flexible with those things because, again, it's not replacing anything that I'm missing. It's just adding to what's already here.
I feel you. So you feel like you could do good being single?
I did it. What you mean?
I mean, of course, like you won't miss meals, like your bills will be
paid.
I'm
not gonna die.
That's not what I mean. I just mean like some people almost prefer it. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
kind of brings you back to the question you said, like if for some reason this didn't work, would you remarry again?
Mm-hmm.
You think if you were just like, you know, because you kind of in that place before, right? Where it's like, you know what, I'm good.
I got like if you bring them, cool, but I ain't going searching for them. I do think that after being so, if we broke up, right?
Mhm.
If we got a divorce, it would have to be something very tragic
Deaf do
that
till death do, shorty.
that happened between us that we just couldn't get over, no matter how hard we tried to work at it. But being in this relationship and seeing how good it is to be loved correctly
Mm-hmm.
now, going back to that and being single, I'm sure I would feel like I was missing something. Before, I didn't have that. You know what I'm saying? And I was left to really my own devices to really find happiness and joy and peace. And I was cool getting those things between me and God. But now I know that we talked about this before. There are just certain things that another person adds to your life that God does through them. That He's like, look, this area, I'm gonna give you somebody that can help you fulfill that. Because I'm not
gonna do
touching it. You know
I'm not gonna do that part. So y'all go ahead and fulfill each other there.
So now that I know what that feels like, I'm sure that I would miss and crave it if it was gone, and I would want to have that again. But if something happened to you, I think that I would be trying to replace you. And that's why I have a hesitancy to say that I would get remarried, because I don't think it would be fair to the next person. I would really have to grieve and heal from that before I ever decided to move on, because I know that I would just be looking for you and somebody else, and that's not fair to that person.
For sure. Very unfair to him.
You're a tough act to follow. I'm not saying it's not better out there, but it would be hard. I'd be hard pressed to find it.
Come on. You better come on. That made me feel good. All right, last one. Very light. What has the podcast taught you about you and us?
About me and us. The podcast has taught me that my voice is valuable, and that there is yet still purpose inside of me that I have not tapped into, and that I can trust me. And what it's taught me about us is that we can have any conversation and make it through to the other side. I think coming here week to week, and some stuff is in us, locked down deep inside, and until we get here, it won't come out. No matter how many conversations we have, no matter how vulnerable we are with each other, no matter how open we are, it takes this to get it out. And sometimes when we're just flowing and we're just talking and we say stuff and it's like, ooh, it sting, right? And we got to go outside of this and deal with that sting. I have been solidified in the fact that we can get through it, and we can, and that another thing is that there's so much purpose in us as a team that this is just a platform to get that out into the world.
For sure. I was gonna say something similar to what you were saying, that the last point that I think this is kind of giving me a real life example of something I knew but I had never seen. But the purpose behind marriage. I think a lot of us just relationally, we go into it with getting what we want out of it, getting what we need out of it, versus what God wants out of it and what He needs out of it. And marriage is ministry. And I've heard that before, but I don't think I've felt it or seen it. But this podcast has shown me something that he put on our hearts and kind of became almost a mantra to us, but it's bigger than us. It's something that we've clung to in on so many areas of our relationship, where whether it's trying to make a difficult decision, hey, it's bigger than us. Like
Trying to abstain
from sex, hey, it's bigger than us. dealing with issues, difficult conversations. Like, yeah, our feelings are involved and we have to navigate that, but we're not going to get so caught up on this issue that we forget that this is bigger than us. It's not about us. There's people that are connected to us who we might not ever even sit in the same room with. But God's doing a work through us. You know, he had a vision, not just for me separately. And yes, there's some things that we're called to separately, but there was a vision corporately when he put us together. And I see it every time we touch base, every time we, you know, pray and cut these cameras on. Like I feel it, and I know God's doing the work, and I see it now. So that's what I've learned. It helps keep me in the mindset where, like, okay, don't get so caught up on what you need that you forget about what God needs. So that's what I learned.
But you didn't say what you learned about yourself.
I don't really got much there. I don't got much there. I can't say anything I learned about me. I think I've learned about a lot about me in relationships. Like having to talk through this stuff, you know what I mean? Like I think I see that stuff. But yeah, I've been talking for a long time. So I don't know if I found out anything about me there, but I learned a whole lot about us and what this is about and who I am. Even that, like, it's just not about me. Like, that's what this whole season of my life has taught me. Like, and the more I lean into that, the more God opens up doors. The more I'm trying to knock down doors because I want to show my gift or because I want to do this, I want to do that, the more it slows up. But the more I understand, like, this is for the glory of God. Everything I'm doing here is because what I need to do through you. And the more you get out the way, the more I can do. And the more that happens, the more I see God work and the more I see him use me. So that's one thing this is kind of reiterated to me. It's bigger than me.
Amen.
Yeah. But yeah, listen, we're going to miss y'all. It sucks we can't go live. There might be a small chance we might go live. Yeah, because the date might be wrong. I thought we were leaving on. I thought I was leaving on Thursday,
Wednesday.
But it might be Wednesday. I'm gonna find out for sure. Right now there is no live, but if for some reason I leave on Thursday, there might be. But for right now, it's not. We'll stick close to the Facebook, stick close to our social media so you know what's going on. But either way, this weekend I'm gonna be down. All our Virginia listeners, hit me up. What's up? I want to get a pic with y'all.
No, he don't. Don't hit him up.
I
Y'all
do.
Stay where y'all at. He gonna stay where he at.
Baby, be quiet. I want to touch base. I want to talk to a married couple. I want to touch base with the fans. Hit me up. I'm gonna be out in the VA. All friends. The DMV people. These are fam. This is not friends. This is our fam. I want to touch base with y'all. I'm gonna start doing that when I go places. I'm gonna try to get pics with our peoples.
Okay.
Why can't we do that?
You can.
Huh?
You can.
You see me? Oh no, I can't. Do you see the way she said that, y'all? What's up?
You can do what you want.
What's this tone I'm feeling?
Autonomy.
What's this tone I'm getting? What is it?
There's no tone.
Be vulnerable.
I'm not. This has nothing to do with being
this
vulnerable.
Is you feeling things, but not saying things.
I don't agree. If you want to do it, you can do it.
Why don't you agree?
I just don't think it's a good idea to just be inviting people into your space that you don't know and you're alone.
I have my cousins with me. They'll hold me down.
Okay.
Ain't nobody gonna run over do that. But yeah, I'm be on BA over the weekend. Wish it was under different circumstances, but I'll be out that way. But excited to see my family, excited to touch base with my cousins and all the people I haven't seen in a while. So I am excited about that. All the love, family, and nostalgia. I'm looking forward to it.
I love that for you.
Thank you, babe.
Have as best time as you can have under the circumstances.
It's all right because we coming right back under different ones. You coming too, right?
Sure.
Yeah, come on. We got that. I can't wait to tell you about that trip. This is the first time Brandon's gonna be meeting my extended family. I don't have any family here. This is my, chosen family that I have here in Michigan. But, my people from the DMV. So I'm excited for her to meet them, then meet her. They can see how good she's been for me, all that good stuff.
Hopefully. I know grandma got a discerning eye. She might be like,
Yeah, I'm gonna listen to it this time, so you better. I ain't listened to it last time, so you better. Oh, we better. Grandma, tell me what you think.
She might be like,
Hey, we tried. Grandma has spoken. Y'all playing.
All right, y'all. So, again, be in tune to social media so you guys know what's happening this week. But until then, always remember that we love live.
And y'all really should love too. Like, it's dope.